And we are back. We're back. We are back. I'm so excited, so elated because I have my guest on the line, y'all. None other than I'm talking about the musical, the maestro himself. I'm talking about his voice like velvet. I just got to say that. Love his voice. Jason Champion. How you doing, sir?
How are you? How are you?
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. Thank you so much for being my guest. I really do appreciate that.
Thank you for having me.
I really, really, really do appreciate that. You taking your time just to be a guest on the radio show. Oh my! First of all, how you doing?
I cannot complain at all. God is good. I have no complaints.
Well, you know what? First of all, I'm gonna tell you right off the bat, I am proud of you and everything that you're doing. I'm proud of you. Okay, I just gotta say that.
Thank you.
I gave my little testimony earlier on the show today.
I heard you talking about the treadmill. I heard you.
Come on, my treadmill ministry has been strong. Okay, all right. I done lost 17. Okay, I got a lot more to go. I ain't gonna tell nobody what else I got to go. I got to go, but I'm gonna get there.
Right. You do not tell what the total. Absolutely not.
But I was so excited, and it's, just seeing you too. I'm proud of you. I see what you're doing. I'm proud. And you know what? It makes you feel like, you ain't the only one alone. Everybody got their journey. Everybody going through this, and we can do all things. We can do this. We're going to do this.
I appreciate that. I agree. We absolutely will get it done. It's rough, but we're getting it done.
No, seriously. There's some days I don't want to get up and just go.
Man, you and me both.
I'm like, no, but I don't want to. But, but I tell you, this past Sunday, I was encouraged. Doc. I was encouraged. Because I haven't been on the scale until I went to the doctor. I said, all right, I'm gonna run and see what the end gonna be. I'm gonna do this thing. But anyway,
and most of the time, my trainer tells me, he says, don't look at the scale because it can be frustrating. You might just be losing inches, and you might have a hard workout week and get on the scale, and then it stays the same. And he's like, yeah, don't worry about that.
Wow. But that's the thing that happened to me in the summer. Listen. I've been writing down my days. Okay, when I was day 50 something, I was like, all right, I must have did something. I got tempted. I went on the scale. I ain't lose nothing. I think it was what 5 pounds? Not even that, probably 3 or something. I'm not really sure. I got to listen back to the playback, but I was mad as jacks. I was upset. I got discouraged, and it's I just felt like, don't go on the scale. Don't do it.
Right.
And when I did, I was upset because I expected more.
Well, I will say this, and it is my struggle too. I was just telling my trainer last week. So I started like May 27th, I think it was, and I'm down 35 pounds. But what is May 27th to now is like almost 7 months.
Yeah.
But it's really, which I'm grateful, and I'm satisfied. Well, I shouldn't say satisfied, but I'm grateful, and I'm content with the 35. But the kitchen, if you're not doing the work in the kitchen, it will tell. The scale will tell. If you're not putting in the work in the kitchen, and I don't really cook, so I'm always grabbing something, and I still cheat, and I still get some of the things that I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
So if we don't get the kitchen piece 100% right, then it's going to be an uphill battle, and then the weight is going to come off slow like it's coming.
Yeah. I agree with you 150%. So, but it's I've had my days. I've had my
me
days.
too.
I've had my days, but I am determined. I got to do this. I got to do this. But sir, I'm proud of you. You got music out. First of all, you've been in this industry for a very long time, and I first of all, hats off to the longevity. Okay.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a long time since I was 17. I'm 44, so 27 years.
Oh my gosh. So now my question, when did you start singing? What age did you start singing?
So, like most young people, you don't really remember when that moment, that epiphany, that moment where you're like, wow, I can really sing. You just kind of remember talent shows at school, the little elementary school talent shows or whatnot, and then high school, and then, local shows as you get older. I just remember doing those things, and, by the time I was probably 8 or 9 or 10, it just became commonplace where, I started doing all the local talent shows and, doing them around town in school. And by the time I was a junior in high school, that's when the whole thing happened with Gerald Levert, and the whole Men at Large movement was put together. So I mean, I've just kind of been doing it, ever since I can remember, because my family, I grew up in church, and all of my family sang, so it was always around me. So at some point, it was between 7, 8, and 9 that I realized that this is probably what I was going to be doing.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Well, that's a blessing. And just your beginnings. You start off with the groups. Now that you are solo artists. First of all, what's the difference? What is the feel in being in a group? And it's, now that you're on your own as a solo artist, is there a difference? I know besides, okay, you telling me, well, E's a group, I'm solo now, but the dynamic, the difference in between that.
Well, for me, like I always tell people, I never had aspirations to be a solo artist. I was, I came from doing Men at Large, where I always had somebody to my left or to my right. David Tolliver, big ups to David Tolliver, the other original member of Men at Large, and big ups to Gemini too. Gemini Porter. After I left, him and David Thornton, they kept it going, and they've been doing this thing for 20 years. So big ups to them. They're doing a great job. But I always had somebody to look to on my left and on my right. And then when I stopped doing that, and kind of God took me out of the whole R&B industry, when I finally came back to music, I was fortunate enough and blessed enough to be with Mr. Kirk Franklin, and so I was background. So I had 10 other singers to kind of blend in with, and I didn't have to be on my own, and I wasn't the focus. And so when the opportunity presented itself for me to do my solo record, I was literally, and this is not an exaggeration, literally petrified. So I had to go to Tennessee, to Nashville, and meet with Ken Pennell, who was the record exec over at the EMI, and Mr. Larry Blackwell. And it was a great meeting, great time. I walked away feeling pretty positive. But in the back of my mind, I was like, I don't want to do no solo record. Not what I wanted to do. And as God would have it, they ended up calling me back and saying, hey, we really enjoyed meeting you. We want to move forward with signing you to the deal. And, of course, I didn't have a job at the time because Kirk Franklin had to downsize because it was just way too many people he was traveling with. There was like 20 of us. Wow. And so he had to downsize, and I was part of that downsizing. And so I didn't have a job at the time, and I needed one. And so I jumped at the opportunity to make the solo record, but I really, really, really was petrified, so much so that after I signed the deal, and the next movement was to fly back to Nashville and do a sit down, with all the executives, and to do like a 2 or 3 song kind of intimate thing for just the executives. Man, the night before, I thought I was going to pass out because I didn't want to do that. I did not want to be by myself. I did not want to be the focal point. And, but, God saw fit. He walked me through it. And, I'm grateful that he's given me, the platform that he has. And sometimes you got to do it afraid. Joyce Myers preached a long time ago. Sometimes there's some things that you just got to do afraid. And that was definitely one of them. But I'm grateful for the journey, and I'm grateful for where I am now.
Wow. Amen. Awesome. 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 Now that's good. That's good. And the thing is this, you do good. You do very well, if I do say so myself, solo. All right. Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You're blessing a lot of people right now. Okay. You're blessing a lot of people right now. Now you're solo now. Now, you've been signed to My Block?
I am now signed. So my first record was on, like I said, on EMI.
Yes.
And actually, Warren Campbell actually did my first record. And on the single that I was known for that got me the Grammy nomination, which was Always, Erica Campbell is actually singing background on that record. So if you go back and listen to it, that's actually Erica Campbell singing. And so Warren and I had formed a friendship when I was with Kirk, on tour with Kirk. It was Kirk Franklin, Men of Standard, and it was Mary Mary. And so Warren would come out to visit his wife periodically while we were on tour. And we formed a friendship, and it was very organic, and we decided that we were going to work together. And so he did my entire first album. And when it was time for the next record, he had this epiphany. He said, hey, man, why don't you come over to My Block? And I was like, stop playing. And he was very serious. And so, yeah, I'm on My Block as of the last probably about 18 months or so now. And it's been one of the best decisions that I've ever made, that God has ever presented to me.
Wow. And you just see how God just sets things up, man. I love that.
Absolutely.
That was a nice setup. It's like, okay, the people that you're going to be working with going to be right in your face.
Right.
Right in your face.
Like stuff that you don't see coming, you don't know how that's going to unfold. But, I'm thankful. Warren is actually I always tell people that it's great to be on my block. It's such a, what's the word I'm looking for, when it's such a prestigious place to be, because Warren represents Erica, and Warren represents so much royalty and as far as music is concerned. But more than the music, they're just good people, and I like being over there just because he's a great person.
Beautiful. Now let me ask you this question: as a singer, okay, a vocalist, a singer, and stuff, like, everybody will say, okay, with their different songs that they've written, different songs that they've sung, what type of genre would you put yourself in and categorize, or would you say, well, you know what, I'm eclectic, I just do everything?
Good question. I don't think anybody's ever asked me that question.
See, that's what I do. That's what I do. See, that's what I do.
Jonathan McReynolds, who I am absolutely a huge fan of. I think when he came out with his first record and he called it life music, to me, unfortunately, we have these genres. We have jazz, we have classical, we have country, we have hip hop. But in gospel music, unfortunately, this is just my humble opinion.
Okay.
Unfortunately, when you have the white Christian artist and then you have the black gospel artist, everything kind of gets segregated, and the message is all the same, and we're all talking about the same thing, but there's this huge segregated, like, I do CCM, I do gospel, black gospel, and when you talk about black gospel, it's usually traditional black gospel music that the term gospel music is referring to.
Yeah.
And there's so many of us, artists like myself, like Doobie Powell, who's amazing, Jonathan McReynolds, that we're not traditional in the traditional sense. And so I really don't like any of the labels, if you will, because it's just good music. But if I had to go with one, I'd like to, borrow the phrase that Jonathan coined, which is just life music. I sing about love, I sing about life, I sing about God, and it's all housed under the umbrella of Christian, the gospel message.
Yes.
But it's going to sound just a little bit different.
Yes. I like that. I like that a lot. But see, I have to give you questions everybody can go ask you, okay? Because everybody calling you for an interview, and I want to make sure my questions are a little bit different.
Oh, no, you good.
They got to be a little different. I
like that. Nobody's ever asked me that question. Like, not even like a variation of that question. I've never had that question before.
See, I'm the first. Here we go. God is good. All right. So you have a new song out right now. Are you ready? Now,
what you know about that?
Come on now. Are you ready? I saw the video. I like the song, and I've been playing it. I've been playing a lot. Just been listening.
Thank you very much.
I've been listening to it. I said, okay, are you ready? I said, okay, all right. Okay, all right. I like that. What was the inspiration behind that song? And did you write that song?
So I was going to say, I wrote that song probably 20 years ago.
What? Wow.
And my little brother, Jay Sean Champion, who is just like the most amazing songwriter, producer, arranger, and singer, even though if you ask him, he's not a singer, but he absolutely is. When I got stuck on the bridge, he came up with this crazy, elaborate bridge. We ended up changing it, but when it came time 20 years later, I told Warren, I said, hey, man, I got this idea. Obviously, when I wrote the song, it didn't sound anything like that. Mm-hmm. And when I got with Warren for this record this time around, I said, hey, man, I got an idea, something that I've written, and I sang it to him. And, of course, Warren in his crazy, headspace, whenever he tilts his head and goes, let's try something, I know it's getting ready to be something absolutely phenomenal. And so he came up with this whole 1950s, 1960s vibe, and I'm a huge fan of Sam Cooke, and so it just was, it was a match and it was a marriage. And he said, go in the booth and just, wing it, because mind you, the melody didn't sound like it sounds right now. So I went in the booth and I just sang from memory, kind of what that Sam Cooke vibe would sound like in my head, based on my my knowledge of who Sam Cooke was, and that's how it came out. And it just, Jay Sean, Champion, Eric Dawkins, just did an amazing job. Eric Dawkins, without those backgrounds on there like he put them, it just took that song way over the top and gave us that whole vibe and that whole era. And I love the record, love it.
Beautiful. I like that. I like that. Well, the song is really, really, really good, y'all. It's really, really good. But you know what, Jason, let's listen to it real quick. I want the audience to hear it real quick, and I'll get right back with you right now.
I like that.
That was none other than Mr. Jason Champion with his song, Are You Ready? Love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. The question is, everybody, are you ready? I like that question. We all got to be ready. We all got to be ready because Jesus is coming back. Beautiful song. Beautiful, beautiful song. Now, let me ask you this. What is next for Mr. Jason Champion? What do you have next coming up? What can people be, excited and on their pins and needles waiting for you?
Well, the single that you just played, it's only been out for a few weeks, and so God blessed us. We have the number one most added record in the country for the last 5 out of the last 6 weeks. And as you know, in radio, this is the sort of the blackout period.
Oh yeah.
So there's no more reporting and no more adding new music. But we came out at the end of October, and it's by it being the holiday period, it's hard to get new music added. But God was very gracious, very kind to us, and we were able to get added to over 50 stations. And so going into the new year, we will just sort of pick up where we left off and ride that wave and that momentum that God has given us. And we will work the heaven out of this single. And as long as people want to hear it, it'll keep being played, and I'll go sing it and I'll go minister. But, as far as what's next, it's just pretty much promoting that single. The album will be out at the first quarter, sometime probably February, March. And we're just going to go around the United States and just declaring the gospel, the same as people before me who have paved the way, traveling all over the country and just telling the people about the good news of Jesus the best way we can, and the way he gave it to me, in my own little compartment as only I can do it.
Well, I love that. That's wonderful. Now, let me ask you this question. There's so many independent artists out there. They might not be signed, but they see you and they know you've been in the industry for so long. What wisdom can you give them, about just the industry, some nuggets? Because everybody always trying to find out, how could I do this? How could I do what you do? How you do it? What can you teach me? What wisdom can you impart?
I think that's probably the most common question from any interviewee. And I pretty much love that question because it gives me an opportunity to share at least my sort of my perspective. I'm certainly not the expert on all things humanity, but as far as I can see it, Emmanuella, you really, God is, this is cliche and it's antiquated, but what God has for you is for you. And if this is what God has for you, the only thing you really need to be doing is be busy doing what God called you to do. If you're a worship leader at your church, be excellent being a worship leader. If you are a singer-songwriter, be excellent doing that. And, singing and performing wherever you can, find outlets to do what you do. And if it's really meant for you to do what you do, God will create those avenues, and it'll be maybe not easy to walk through all the time. You may have some opposition and some pushback, but if it's meant for you to do what you believe God is calling you to do, when you see other people in ministry or in music and you feel like that's where God has called you, it absolutely will happen because it's supposed to happen. Now, if you are trying to be a gospel artist and God is not giving you that grace, you're going to continue to be frustrated and you're going to be trying to climb up an escalator that is going in a downward motion, and you're going to be trying to go up, and it's just going to be frustrating and very arduous and very hard.
I like what you said, and you don't have the grace for it. I love it.
Right.
I love it. I love what you just said right there. Now that'll preach. That right there. Now that'll
Some
preach.
people don't know that they don't have the grace because some people they're so locked and loaded on the fact that they want to be in, and I put in air quotes, they want to be a gospel singer / entertainer. They have that so locked and loaded in the forefront of their minds, they don't realize that that's not who they're called to be.
Wow. I hope everybody listening to this, because this is going to save you some time and energy and finances.
Right.
And
Right. You're going to spend a lot of resources trying to be something because what happens is they want the platform. They want the lights and what they think is the fame and the notoriety. They have no idea what goes on behind the scenes, and so they want the lights and the notoriety, and they want to be famous. They want to rub shoulders with Erica from Mary or whomever.
Yeah.
And they absolutely don't know what it costs. As I get older, I'm 44 now. Everything costs. Everything has a price, and you're going to pay it one way or the other, whether good or bad.
Oh my. Now that's some wisdom right there. That's some wisdom. That's some wisdom for you. Now, Mr. Champion, where can we find you? Everybody got to follow you, okay? I need everybody following you, purchasing your music. They need to get to know who you are so they could be all up in your face, okay? How can we do that?
I appreciate that. So I don't do Snapchat, at least not yet. I will in the near future, and I don't do Twitter.
Okay.
Not because I'm anti-Snapchat or Twitter, but how many platforms can we keep up with at one time?
Yeah.
So I have Instagram and I have Facebook, and you can follow me on Instagram at Jason L. Champion, CHA, M as in Mary, P as in Paul, ION.
Okay.
Jason L. Champion on Instagram. And you can follow me on Facebook at Jason Champion Official. It's either Jason Champion Official or Official Jason Champion, one of the two.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I need everybody to purchase your music. They got to your music is wonderful. Your music is wonderful.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me, Emmanuella.
Thank you so much for being a guest. I do appreciate it. I really, really do. I really do. And also, aren't you a radio personality yourself?
I do a radio show weekly every Wednesday at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Blog Talk Radio. We are shut down. My last live show was this past Wednesday. They shut down to do some holiday programming, but I will be back and resume on January the 3rd, which is Wednesday, January the 3rd at 12 p.m. I'm going to have to get you on the show.
Oh, please do.
Absolutely. I'm serious. Absolutely.
I'm serious, too. Okay, I'm smiling, but I'm serious.
Okay.
You're looking at this live, you're looking in my eyes. I'm serious. Okay.
Okay.
But good. Everybody listen. Everybody follow. I tell people, this is my slogan. I tell people they need to support. I'm a big thing about supporter. I don't tell me.
Me too.
Don't tell me.
I heard you earlier talking about stop. How can I support? Stop saying you like it and then won't go buy it.
No.
It's $1.29. You'll go buy $1 whatever it costs for a red box, but you won't go buy $1.29 single to support Kingdom music. It's just so backwards.
It's backwards, and I'm tired of people pirating in the kingdom, and everybody and their mama know about your music, but now one person purchased anything. Okay,
You know what we need to do, Emmanuella, on your show, my show, anybody that has a platform, we need to do a show about what streaming really is and how it affects the artist, because if some people knew that we didn't reap the benefits of that. Maybe if we sort of painted the picture and likened it unto if they went to their job for 9 to 5. And instead of getting, $15, $16, $17 an hour,
come on,
because somebody was streaming, they were only going to get $6 an hour, and the other, $9, $10, $11 was going to go to somebody else. That's really what that is.
Yes.
I don't think they would go for that.
I don't think so too. Okay, and to all the saints in the body of Christ in church that be burning CDs, that be going up to people talking about, I want to bless you with this CD, and they say no, it's a blank CD that they don't burn their own playlist on. Nah, we got to stop this.
We got to do better, for real.
Nah, we ain't doing that. Okay, it's too much money to go into the studio. You got to pay producers,
not
singers.
To mention, it's just good to support. Like, what's wrong with supporting each other? There's something to be had, just to say that, hey, I'm supporting. Because you're going to need support from some angle, some avenue, somewhere, some way, somehow. What's wrong with each other supporting each other?
Come on. I get revved up with that. I need everybody to support. So everybody hearing this, Support Jason Champion. Come on now. We want to see God do great and mighty things, continue to do great and mighty things in and through his life. Purchase his music, purchase his single right now. It's on all platforms. Is it on all platforms?
All digital downloads, Spotify, Amazon, Google Play, iTunes, Apple Music, although I prefer not to do Apple Music or Spotify because those are those streaming platforms that I talked about. I'd rather you do Google Play or iTunes.
Go to Google and iTunes. Come on now and purchase the music tonight, y'all, on this New Music Monday. Y'all purchase it. Thank you so much, Jason. I do appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's been my honor and my privilege.
All right. God bless you. God bless.
Bless you.